Nearing its 40-year anniversary, The Real Ghostbusters has stood the test of time as being one of the most amazing animated series ever. It had this incredible line of toys and action figures in the 1980s from Kenner, but until now, there hasn't been that premium, collectible, articulated version of The Real Ghostbusters. Well, Mondo is changing the game. You know it. I know it. And today we're counting down the top 10 toys and action figures we would love to see from Mondo's The Real Ghostbusters.
This is where the fun begins.
Hey everybody, Craig from Toy Anxiety here. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Unless you've been living under a rock, you already know this. In the fall of 2023, Mondo sculptor and friend of the channel, Alex Brewer, tossed a Hail Mary out on the internet. He had these fan-made sculpted renders of what an amazing Real Ghostbusters figure line would look like. The fan reaction was over the top incredible. Sony took it seriously, Mondo took it seriously, and last year at WonderCon, the official tease happened. Mondo was going to be producing 1/12 scale Real Ghostbusters figures. They were originally revealed at Comic-Con 2024, and the first set went up for sale just a few months ago. Sam Hain and Peter Venkman, unbelievable figures. It also comes with Slimer, and then they just put up for sale the Egon and Boogeyman set. We've also seen render reveals for Ray Stantz, Winston Zedmore, Janine Melnitz, and other premium ghosts, including Sandman and Gash. So today, I want to count down the 10 toys and action figures that I would love to see Mondo take on next for the Real Ghostbusters. Number 10, the rest of the intro ghosts. Mondo has already included one of the legendary intro ghosts with the Boogeyman set, but come on, we need them all. Those weird, spooky specters that grace the screen in the Real Ghostbusters opening are mandatory toys. These ghosts are iconic in their own way. They're marching down the streets of Manhattan. They're flanked by Mr. Stay Puft. Their vibrant colors and haunting presence made them some of the most recognizable ghosts in the franchise, even though for the most part, they're only seen during the intro to the show. They're iconic. If Mondo continues to pack in these intro ghosts with the premium sets, we might be recreating the RGB opening credits in action figure form in no time. Number 9, Watt. What's the deal with Mrs. Rogers? Get it? Hailing from Long Island and manifesting in human form as a kind older woman, Watt is a true icon of Ghostbusters villainy. If Mondo takes on Watt for the Real Ghostbusters toy line, and I just have this sneaking suspicion that they will, I would love for them to go all out with both his eerie Mrs. Rogers disguise and also his natural monstrous true form as well. And of course, no Watt figure would be complete without his conniving canary companion, Precious, a fully articulated version with an interchangeable wingspan, option to recreate his attack mode. Hey, I don't think that's too much to ask for. And if Mondo ever decided to do a build a containment unit program, I think Watt would be a perfect starting place. Number 8, Were Chicken. Look, if you watched The Real Ghostbusters, you know how terrifying Were Chickens were. No, how terrifying they are. First appearing in Poultrygeist, there it is, this bizarre ghost transformed people into chickens when it bit them. It had glowing red eyes, sharp fangs, and an eerie clucking laugh that basically still haunts my dreams. How about some eggs, some haunted eggs as an accessory? Give us a Were Chicken, come on. Number 7, the Grundle. Ooh, the Grundle is one of the creepiest ghosts in the entire series. A whispering, manipulative monster that corrupts kids. Yikes. The Grundle first appeared in the episode The Grundle, where he slowly influenced a young boy named Alec, turning him into a ghostly figure like himself. His raspy voice and sinister demeanor made him one of the show's most unnerving villains and would make a great addition to the growing Ghostbusters Rogues Gallery. Especially since he popped up eventually in new iterations of Ghostbusters, including Extreme Ghostbusters and the IDW comics. But back to the Grundle's motives. A kid's show featuring a villain whose main goal is to manipulate children is just wild, maybe even wrong. Number 6, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Possibly the most memorable piece of iconography in the entire Ghostbusters canon, Stay Puft is a must. Look, there's been Stay Puffs forever. Stay Puft has been done a million times by every toy company, but we're talking about the potential of a Mondo Stay Puft, and one based on his animated appearances. Imagine the size, the detail, the scale, the articulation. Mondo has mastered the art of large-scale 1/6 figures already. I have no doubt that they would crush it with a 2 or 3 foot tall Stay Puft to tower over the growing line of figures. Number 5, People Busters. Welcome to Boo York. You see what I did there? The alternative reality, horrifying version of our favorite Ghostbusters are an absolute must. They first appeared in the fan favorite episode Flipside, where the Ghostbusters ended up in an alternate dimension where ghosts hunt humans. Terrifying. These versions of Peter, Ray, Egon were grotesque with decayed skin, eerie glowing eyes, and twisted uniforms. A Mondo set would be incredible, and seeing People Busters in action figure form is the stuff that Ghostbusters fans have always dreamed of. I would even love to see Mondo make a Winston Zedmore version of the People Busters, even though that was not in the show. Can we say 4-pack? Anybody? Number 4, the Ghosts Are Us Ghosts. The best ghost grifters in the game, these 3 slimy scam artists, Boss, Snarg, and Zunk, are iconic. Debuting in the very first episode of The Real Ghostbusters, Ghosts Are Us, they've escaped ecto containment and are up to no good. I think they would translate beautifully into the Mondo line. So what? They ran a fraudulent ghost-catching business that nearly put the Real Ghostbusters out of work. Look, not my fault. These guys were hilarious, devious, and had some of the best animation designs in the entire series. A 3-pack would be ideal, similar to what NECA did with the Neutrinos. I, for one, would love a Ghosts R Us 3-pack. Number 3, Ecto 2. Mondo is known for going big. So why not give us the Ecto 2? It's not the biggest vehicle in the world, but it's big in my heart. This was the team's ghost-busting chopper or helicopter, and it'd be the perfect companion piece for this lineup. Ecto 2 was an essential tool for aerial pursuits, complete with mounted proton cannons and a ghost net. A figure version would include articulated rotor blades, a working winch, space for 2 Ghostbusters to ride it out. The Ecto 2 famously made its way to the Kenner line and is one of the few vehicles from the show to already have toy representation. But it would be amazing if the Ecto 2 from Mondo had that capability, just like in the show, to fold up and be stored in the rear of Ecto 1. Now that would be cool. Number 2, Ecto 1. Hey, speaking of Ecto 1, you knew this was coming. The Ecto 1 is essential. A massive, highly detailed Mondo version of this classic car would be an absolute showstopper. Working doors, lights, sound effects, just imagine the potential. Ecto 1 was featured in nearly every single episode of The Real Ghostbusters, and it is as essential to the Ghostbusters canon as the characters themselves. If Mondo made this, they'd have the distinction of being the first toy company ever to accurately model the animated version of the famous Cadillac. The closest we ever got was when the now defunct Chronicle Collectibles showed off a statue model back in 2019. I have no doubt that the design team at Mondo would deliver a truly wonderful Ecto 1 with plenty of cel-shaded deco and room for, 4 Ghostbusters, maybe even 5. Number 1, it's the Firehouse. Finally, the ultimate Real Ghostbusters collectible, the Firehouse. If Mondo somehow, some way, made a massive collector-grade, super detailed Firehouse for the Ghostbusters, it would be legendary. Masters of the Universe has gotten large-scale Castle Grayskulls and Snake Mountain, and we just saw Super 7 successfully crowdfund an incredible Thundercats Ultimates Cat's Lair. So a Real Ghostbusters Firehouse in this scale might be a dream, but it's a possible dream. A deluxe version could feature a huge basement containment unit with light-up effects, an accurate garage bay, a kitchen, sleeping quarters, and of course, Janine's desk. This would be the crown jewel of the entire Mondo Real Ghostbusters collection. And if we make it to a Firehouse, then we know that we are dealing with one of the most legendary and successful toy lines of all time. Well, there you have it. That's my top 10. Why don't you go ahead and sound off in the comments? Let me know what I missed. Is there a toy, action figure, vehicle, or something else from the Real Ghostbusters that you would like to see Mondo take on? I'd love to hear about it. So look, we've got some fun stuff coming up in the Mondo Real Ghostbusters. There's going to be more pre-orders soon. I am, as they say, all in on this line. Join us next time for more toy anxiety. My name's Craig. Thank you. Bye.
This is where the fun begins.
Who's the big guy with the muscles?
This is where the fun begins.